happening in the mornings. With that comes more expense, just to let everybody know. The reason why is because we have 7 to 9 guards on in the mornings to take care of all the small kids. 7 guards are on the deck, 2 guards are sanitizing, and there's one guard sanitizing and 1 guard rotating with a break. That's normal.
Mm-hmm.
On any of our shifts that we always have at the pool, that's very, very normal.
7 to 10, sure.
Yep, whatever. Inside workers, whatever, we don't use during that morning break. We don't serve no food or nothing like that, just to let everybody know, because they have their lunches and their breaks at Project Kids and just like home. So we don't have anybody working there. So basically, that's what it is. As far as supervisors go during that session, usually Josh or one other supervisor is there, and sometimes they, depending on if they have a pretty good sized group, whatever, on the register, they might bring in another lifeguard assistant. They're getting paid lifeguard wages, but they're not regular supervisors. We got a couple of them in the staff that are called head lifeguards, and they come in and help. So just in case they have quite a few numbers on that day, okay? So like say for instance, that day we had 195, Josh probably needed some help in the morning with an extra supervisor. So when you really break it all down, you know, we got 7 guards, we got 1 person taking care of all the sanitizing, bathrooms outside, and then we got 1 rotating, so we got 9 people. We got 1 supervisor, which is 10, maybe a head lifeguard, which would be 11, and that's what we would be doing in the morning. Pretty much 10 to 11 people, okay, just to let everybody know what's happening in the morning, okay. In the first session, when we come to noon to 12 to 3:30, it's pretty self-explanatory. These are the attendants that people have come walking through the door. That means the people that have paid the $5 fee or has been involved in buying our books, okay. That's basically what it is. On the first session, basically it's the same thing as far as people on the deck, people in the pool working, except in concessions, whatever, sometimes we have 5 to 6 workers working concession, and that's pretty much basic every day, each shift, from the afternoon session from 12 to 3:30, and also the evening. Here's the deal why. We have 2 that are doing the food. We have 1 that's at the admission window. We have 1 out to 57. And we have 1 that's at the top of the slide. We use them at the top of the slide. Pretty much most days, Josh said. Just depending on, because sometimes we are having situations where lifeguards are slim. Okay, because the numbers in lifeguards are slim. And so that's one thing that they try to adjust, where they have to have at least a 15-year-old that's working the concessions that has to go up on the top, okay? You can't, state says you have to be required, you gotta be 15 years old on a slide feature, okay? So that's basically what happens as far as people out on the deck. So just to go back through everybody, I just want to let everybody know, when you're seeing people at the pool, this is basically what we staff it with. Probably 7 guards, 8 rotating, so we have 8, 1 supervisor, 1 head lifeguard. We have 5 pretty much inside workers and crossing guards. So we're looking at about 13 people on the afternoon.
15.
Is it
That's 7, 8 with a rotator, supervisor, and then
Yep,
so
50.
15.
Still not many people for how many people go through there sometimes.
Yes, but I talked to Josh, and even though we work at 50% capacity, only that we're at 50% capacity, the state requires us to have 7 people out on deck, no matter what. We can't change that down to 5 or 4 or whatever. We have to have it because of the size of our pool.
Sure.
And you wouldn't want
Okay?
to do.
No, and we have to have someone on the top, the slide, and we gotta have 1 on the bottom in the water. That's automatic. Now Josh says the only way that we possibly could cut down a little bit on staff, he says, he goes, shifts are subject to change. Sometimes we're not fully staffed at every shift. We do our best to cut staff when we can and adjust the schedule according to reservations, weather, groups, visiting the KSC. So when he takes the reservations and he knows we're not gonna have a very busy day, he will let some people know, not the lifeguards, but he usually tries to work with the concession people and try to break it down smaller if he can. So I wanted to go through with him with that today, and he wrote this up for me, cause I wanted to explain to US Park Board members about staffing, okay? Cause when most of our money, and everybody knows it, half of it is gonna come out in wages,
Oh, yeah.
okay? So I just wanna let everybody know on that part. Jan said today, you know, after probably making payroll, we're already up to what, Jan, 80,000 in staff, in money already?
She's thinking, well, we paid out 26, but, you know, figuring each payroll at that kind of limit, we'll be at 81,000 easily. but
81,000, and we got probably another, in fact, got 3 more paychecks, right?
Yes, right,
At least 6 more weeks,
right.
So I mean, if you figure on probably about 12,000 a week
probably,
total cost,
yep,
so for another 4 weeks, you know, we'll still get to 100, which makes sense though, because if you were at 154 last year,
And we're
we
3
really
weeks
only
short.
we only really missed 2.5 weeks.
2.5 weeks, yep.
Now, revenue side, we're gonna miss that revenue too,
Oh,
but,
yeah.
but, you know,
Yep.
wage-wise.
Pretty much.
So it's probably in a little bit, it's probably close to being in line with last year's numbers.
Right, right. And Josh wanted to point out, the only difference why you may see some people getting more money is because we went with that morning deal. Normally, we don't do the morning, we don't have all the lifeguards on.
Right.
So that's where a lot of the expenses come in, when
Absolutely.
he goes, me and him, and which I did, we wanted to try to get the daycares there so they could use the facility, so we don't have to take up spaces for people during the afternoon. And that's where the expense comes in, I think, basically, when you really look at the wages, is the morning group when we go there.
Right, I mean, we talked about that, you know, basically, based on the numbers you're saying, you know, being at $200 in the morning, you know, for 2.5, 3 hours, every time we were open, we were losing $150,
At least
automatically.
$150. Yep.
Automatically,
At least
no,
that.
you know, no question, so,
Yep.
I mean,
Yep.
you know, those days, we knew we were gonna I mean, I guess maybe you knew you were gonna lose
Yep.
$150 a morning, which is something that we've talked about,
Right.
so.
And, you know, that's something we'll look at next year, when hopefully everything gets back to normal, we hope. But anyway, Josh did talk, and I just let, Tim know, Josh did talk to, Just Like Home, and he talked to Project Kids, and they agreed to raise it back to $50 more, so now they're gonna pay $250.
Which is what we started off the year at.
What we started off
Right.
with the year. Josh gave them a $50 break, you know,
Mhm.
but with the kids that are coming, and like Maggie said, the parents, they, you know, they write their checks out, they just want their kids to come to the pool.
Absolutely.
You know, so
Yep.
$250 will go back now into the coffers for the morning sessions
Nice.
for the groups, okay? Just to let you know on that part, okay? Like I say, income, these 2 sheets here are for the month of June and the month of July. And actually in June, when we first looked at it, when me and Tim got the month of June, we kinda went, oh boy, that's not very good money coming in, and it's really expensive to run the pool.
Yeah.
And when we got back, and now Tim and Jan just gave me this now for July, the numbers look a little bit more better, they're starting to come back, okay? So, we definitely know, we probably, I couldn't even imagine or estimate, I should say estimate, excuse me, of what we're gonna come out at the end of the year. So I was up there just now tonight, before I came here, and there might be only 30 people there tonight,
Slim, no.
you know? But this weekend on a Saturday night, like you said, Tim, could be 300. You know, it just kinda varies of who's all coming, you know?
And the weather.
And the weather and the whole ball of wax. It was kinda through about City Hall here, possibly maybe doing some, maybe possible changes for the next 6 weeks. Like possibly, eliminating the morning thing and allowing the daycares to come in the afternoon. We also threw out there, maybe we don't have anything in the morning and we just open the pool up from noon to 6 o'clock or 6:30 or whatever, and just have first come, first served, keep it full. If they gotta wait in line, they gotta wait in line. You know, just to think that maybe we might be able to, number one, save some money on staffing, and number two, just make sure people are just coming in, okay? When we took a look at these numbers, just to let you know, back in June, when Nancy figured some of the stuff out, there was an average of 271 people, you can see that averaging during the day. Out of that 271, 41 was only Casson residents. There's a lot of Casson residents are not having their kids come to the pool.
Wow,
I found that out,
wow.
and, it was really surprising. A lot of them are coming from out of town, okay? I don't know what the circumstances would be, did she put anything on there for July? I don't think she did. But basically, it went from 271, as you can see, up to 416 people a day. So it has increased, for people coming. But now, we got the terrible month of August, because August is a tough month.
It's gonna slow down.
It's gonna slow down, no matter what. So we may not reach higher than 416, or our peak might go back down, just to let everybody know as far as people paying and coming through the doors. So, that kinda puts us at, you know, do we keep everything the same and run it the same for the next 6 weeks? Do we do a little tweaking? I guess I'm open for suggestions of what you guys think, based on the numbers we just went through.
Oh, I'd say just gonna have to leave it up to the pool, but I'd say tweak it as the numbers justify it. If you start seeing people leaving early every day, change the closing hour, notify people and
Just
close
close
early,
early,
yeah.
so.
You know, if you start seeing the numbers down, don't leave it open, don't pay staff to do nothing, or minimal, if you only got 5 people.
So if we open at 4:30,
That's
all
the
of a sudden
problem,
by...
how do we adjust for that second period?
I don't know.
That's, I mean, 'cause, exactly, yeah,
Or do you-
in a normal year, when it was just the whole day,
It was
yeah.
no big deal,
By
right.
7 o'clock, you'd be like, it's getting dark,
But can
it's
you
not
tell by the
super warm.
reservations though, how many sign up for the afternoon? If your reservations are low,
If
Do you
they
just
drop
say-
in August, you could probably just
open it wide
up
up.
for the whole thing and,
and
Well,
have
we
the-
did talk about that.
You know, and then
we
you
did
would
talk
be
about
able
that.
to,
Right.
then you would be
Yeah.
able to go back to tweaking it
I mean,
as
I agree, I mean, I think, you know, if these numbers stay the same, we may just leave it the way it is.
Sure.
But if
What
we
do
do
they-
see, if we see a return back to that 170, then, you know, like you said,
Open it back up.
do the whole day, now we're gonna lose revenue, you know, but we also could adjust the daycares to the afternoon, which is really where I mean, our normal operations lose money, and we know that, you guys know that, every year the pool is not a moneymaker. The point I made with Ronnie is like, we can't be opening, like, I can't open in the morning knowing that I'm gonna lose $150 a day, like,
Yeah.
that just isn't, you know, that isn't feasible, like,
Right.
yeah, we don't expect to make money, but I can't open a special session, you know, that doesn't make a lot of sense.
I mean, this year was an odd.
This year was an odd year, and so we're
We
kinda
know.
throwing it all out there, but, I mean, I think that's the other thing I saw was, you know, if the numbers start going back down, we'll just tell the daycares, hey, we're gonna be open in the morning for you, or the afternoon for you.
We'll
That'll
close on
save us the
mornings.
wages in the mornings,
And then open the pool back up to without sessions if the numbers drop, and then,
this was always a fluid thing. We said that at the beginning, we said this is gonna change as we see what goes on,
and then you
know.
could, if it's open that way, then you can just let the pool adjust accordingly.
Just to let you know too, in the month of August, Josh opened up all the reservations for anybody. He's not worrying about if they're Casson residents or,
out of town.
out of town. He's
Mhm.
taking them, whatever they want,
Sure.
they're getting. That's just the way it's gonna be.
Well, yeah, 'cause you know August is gonna be tough.
It's gonna be tough, so he just opened it all up, so people come in and they don't care, he don't care if they're from Kenyon or beautiful town of Blue Earth. He's gonna take 'em.
Oh, they got a nice pool there too, though.
I was there.
We gotta talk about that, yeah.
You know, but I mean, it's gonna have to come down to, you're gonna have to make some decisions, staff level,
Right.
between the
Well, I will
administrator-
admit, you know, I mean, I've used it twice, you know, 2 times when I've had kids come, like nieces and nephews, and, you know, I've talked to Josh both times I've been there and said, you know, how are things going, and, you know, I think you're right, we're gonna do that, you know, Ronnie and I'll talk, Josh and I'll talk, and, you know, the good thing is people are using it.
Yeah.
And that's what we really wanted, when you guys helped make this decision, it was, let's be open so that people can use it and then get some enjoyment. We've had a lot of positive comments.
Yeah, I
Oh,
got it
yeah.
right here, I don't
So-
know, I.
Sure, I've seen that one, yep.
I wanna read you this one
Yeah.
for a positive comment, which I thought was really great. It came from a lady named Sarah, Conway, she's from Rochester. I am contacting you, and she personally contacted me, and she personally contacted the mayor. I am contacting you to say thank you so very much for allowing the aquatic center to be open. We live in Rochester and were crushed when they decided not to open our park pools. My children are in 4-H and all of the things that make life worth living seem to be canceled. We have made reservations and visited the aquatic center twice, and it has truly saved our summer. My daughter rode on her first water slide at your facility, a summer milestone. My children are 8 and 12, and summertime fun is precious. Thank you and your great city for allowing us to enjoy your wonderful, safe, and beautiful aquatic center and park. I can't tell you enough how much it has meant to us during these difficult times. Please share my appreciation with everyone you can. Sincerely, Sarah Conway. So them are good.
Yeah.
You know, that's great.
Well,
You
then,
know,
to bring that up, I was talking to the owner of our company, and his wife took grandkids and his daughter and came to the pool for tot time. And they said, we're coming back. They said it was the best experience they had. They said it was nice staffed, it was well run. They said they wanna come back, and they've been back twice since.
Right.
They've come back for tot time, or they've come back after tot time?
She didn't say what time she came back.
And the only reason is, I'm sitting here listening to all this and trying to figure out, this as a business owner, you hate to change things when people get used to something. It'd be like me saying, you know, it's gonna snow heavy tonight, so I'm closing early tonight. Well, that doesn't sit well with people that know, here's your times you've set.
Right.
We've kind of planned this, and now, you know, honestly, and I'm thinking, like, okay, what can we change? Obviously, we know that we're not gonna make money on this pool this year anyways. I agree that if we can get GLH, Project Kids, tot time moved to start at, you know, come at the noon to 3:30 or whatever, that would help the staffing. Okay, cause the only people that are really depending on that tot time are the people that just are tot timers.
Right.
In this case, if they came at tot time, are they gonna expect to be able to come in the morning only and not have bigger kids swimming around them? It's only one example, but there's other examples out there that would be the same response, so do you take that away? If you take it away at our expense because we're losing money in the morning, you know, you just ride you bite it the rest of the year for the next 6 weeks, I should say, and say, you know, let's not change it, it's stationary, people know it, August is not good, but, you know, you can.
Right. I mean, you look at the last tot time, and there was 34 kids.
Yeah, and that was a down day. I mean,
Well,
I
it's a
guess,
down day,
I'm
I
not,
get it.
I'm not as, I think the tot time could stay.
Right.
I would even almost look at, you know, would it be nice to have that twice a week?
And
You know,
just-
I mean,
and
I mean,
move
if
the
they can get
daycares back,
150 people for a tot time, that's fine. The daycares, they used to be in the afternoon.
Yep.
So, I mean, that works
that's
within
4
their,
days a week.
that works within their schedule, they can just shift, you know.
Sure,
So I agree 100%, like, for somebody who's coming from Rochester, or like my brother brought his kids down from White Bear Lake, you know, I would say that's not a problem, to leave that one alone. It's just for me, it's where I can maybe shift ones back into where they normally would have been anyways, based off of the numbers.
And that's gonna be my second point, it's like, if you can shift that back to the second group and you have space for them, perfect.
Right.
But if you're saying, well, if you start shifting based on the amount, now are you gonna make people stand outside and wait? Now you start messing with, because to try to make amends on one person, you're making other people who still may come from a distance say, now I gotta wait outside your gate.
I mean, I think even if you look right now at the overall numbers during the week, which is when we'd be utilizing this,
Yep.
you can even see, so this would have been our peak times. I mean, the days where you're getting up towards that cap, you know, are your Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
I see that,
So
yeah.
during your week, like, you might have 239 on a normal day, or you might have had 197 or 155. So I think even in the peak time, we would still probably have been able to shift that in July here. But no, I mean, I agree. And if it doesn't work, I don't think we're gonna change it unless we feel like we're comfortable doing that.
Right.
You know, if we see this.
If the numbers start going down.
If we see our expected, you know, 10 to 20% drop off in August, then we'll make the shift. If we don't, then we probably won't change anything.
And that's where, you know,
If that
the
makes
unforeseen and
sense.
the unknown, you don't know what August is gonna bring. Rule of thumb, because that's a different
We don't
year.
know.
That's what I
It's
was just
different.
gonna say.
But
are
that's
So-
why,
more people
that's
gonna
why I
be
said we
Planning
put
and
it onto
discussion,
the
yep.
staff level where they can fluidly change it.
Change it.
Yeah.
Where, you know,
And,
That's
you know,
what we have to rely
And Josh
on.
is great for putting signs up at the concession, around the building to let people know this is what we're doing.
Right.
And then we can get it on Facebook, and we can get it on our city webpage.
Get it out on Twitter.
And whatever.
People follow that.
So people follow that. So we can do the changes, but like you say, I agree with Tim, because if the numbers start sliding down, and we're getting only 130 kids
Mhm.
during the first session.
It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make
Right.
sense.
During the week
Right.
at least.
We could have them there, you know.
I mean, to your point, worst case scenario, if we keep it exactly the same way, we have 6 weeks left, we know we're gonna lose another $60,000. And I mean, which is a chunk of change, but in a budget of $5 or $6 million, it's not that big of a deal. Now, some other ways that I've talked with Ronnie about trying to improve the financial situation is some of these items, the city is gonna be receiving some money from the state from the CARES Act. And a lot of that money is supposed to be spent on specific things. One of the things that we can justify spending money on is all the additional cleaning we've done. You know,
And signage.
extra chlorine that we've purchased, extra staff time that we've used for cleaning. I mean, we may be able to justify putting one person a day, the entire summer, their salary into that money, because we said, hey, we had an extra person to do extra science. So those are, I mean, and maybe that's $20,000 or $30,000 total by the time we're done with cleaning, all some of the extra work we've done, you know, the stabilizer you added, I mean, all these things. So that's gonna go right back in, which is gonna be helpful too.
Yeah.
So, like I said, worst case scenario, we'll lose $60,000 more. We can maybe get half of that back through some of the things the city can do, you know, on a finance level. And, you know, it is what it is. But if we can improve the numbers, that's our goal.
Sure.
Right?
No, I understand that, yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate
So-
that.
Other than that, I don't really have any more. Do you guys have anything you wanna add here? Oh, yeah, there's a couple more things I just wanted to let you know. We had the state health inspector come July 16th.
Mm-hmm.
And wow, we had nothing but praise from him. He said, basically, right to Josh, right out, he says, I've been to 4 pools this morning. He came in the afternoon. He said, them pools are so far behind on this COVID response plan. You guys have got a top-notch facility, how you guys have it set up. Your people that you have got cleaning, all your stations, all your stuff that you got outside the fences, your 6-foot distance park with cones. He says, congratulations on you guys, fabulous job. He was nothing, and we had, our water chemistry was great, our concession stand was great, we never got written up for anything, it was awesome.
Actually, I mean, those 2 reports are included in the council packet for
Yeah.
tomorrow, because we had 0 violations on the food side, and we also had zero issues on the,
Yep.
and that's rare. Usually you see at least 1 or 2 things they ding
Yep.
you on, even if they're small things.
Yeah.
You know, especially with
So,
concessions, but.
That's all, I mean, really,
Yeah.
that's all.
They did a good
Josh
job.
and the staff,
Yeah.
them guys to do it all, so it was great. So just to let you know on that part, August 30th, I talked to Josh today, will be our last day.
30th, okay.
On the
Somebody
30th.
was just asked me that, and I said,
Yep, we will have the first session, okay, but at 3:30, it'll be shut down.
That's a Sunday, right?
Yep, on a
Okay.
Sunday. And then from the second, 3:30 it will close. From then on, we'll clean, get everything all situated before everybody's gone. Josh does a great job having everybody come in, clean, get everything put away, do the stuff that they normally do, clean out refrigerators, whatever. And that stuff will be done on that Sunday night on August 30th.
Are they gonna get a chance to do a little lifeguard party then, or no?
They usually do sometimes, I don't know how Josh has got planned, I don't know. They sometimes do it maybe on a Saturday night or a Sunday, I know they had done
It
it.
depends who's going back to college
Oh,
and,
sure.
you know, all that too, by
Right.
then.
Right.
I just think our kids have done a great job, and I wanna make sure if we,
Right.
get a pizza or something like that, it'd be great for them.
Yeah, they may throw something like on a Saturday night at 8 o'clock or something, and be there maybe one night on a Saturday night till like 9 or 10 or something like that. I have no problem with that. A couple years ago, you know, they got a little loud about 9:30, and the neighbor called up, left a message on my phone, but not a big deal. I mean, they deserve to have some fun.
Sure.
You know, so, but that's a good point. I'll talk to Josh. about
Sure.
that.
they were, I had heard from, because my daughter works there, and she said it was really hot, and they went out and bought them ice cream sandwiches and popsicles. They thought that was the best thing.
Yeah, well, that is nice.
Yeah.
You know, it's just those little things.
We wanna try and keep
Kids-
those lifeguards coming back, you
You know,
know.
and that's the
Yeah.
concession workers, and they just thought that was the coolest thing, that somebody went and bought them.
Sweet.
Yeah.
That's cool. So, Last thing on the pool is, the repairing, and the painting of the play features. I talked to Tim, he gave me the okay to sign the contract with Lemmy Jones, just to let everybody know, they're gonna do the big slides, the two big slides, that's both of them, the inside part and just the inside, nothing on the outside, nothing taking anything apart, just going in and regrinding things, getting some of that putty that's been coming up through the middle, getting it all through, buffing it, re-waxing it and stuff. Those slides, $8,300. Okay? The toddler slide has a little gouge in it, they're gonna have to go in there and put all new epoxy back in there, sand it all off, repaint it, $750 for the double slide, it's the double slide for the, activity area, okay? And then to spray all the activities, in the zero depth, get everything all sanded down, all fiberglass, everything all redone, then all, primed and then repainted, $20,900. So we got a total cost of $29,950. That is being done in the second week of September. They're coming from Missouri, and they're gonna get that done. So that's another added expense, I know, for the pool, but it has to be done.
And you had a lot of that budgeted, Ryan, too.
Yes, I had $20,000 for, heavy maintenance, whatever, to do, so we'll probably be about $10,000 short over, but, that'll be so nice to start out the season with everything decent and nice and back into normal. Now, just to let you know, this should be good for hopefully, I'm thinking probably at least 3 to 5 years, probably more in the 5 years on the slides. In 5 years, like I was telling Tim, them slides are gonna have to be taken apart, bolt by bolt, and then put all the new caulk in, and this gel stuff put in it, and then repainted, coated, and everything on the slides. Okay, both slides. Both slides right now, today, if they did that, last year Hastings did it, okay? With like 86 or 87,000 to do that, and they got similar slides to what we have. This year, if we did it, was $102,400. So we're looking in 5 years, you might be looking at $150,000 maybe, who knows, to do them slides, but they have to be done.
God, and how much were them brand new?
$284,000 for both of them.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just wanna let everybody know that, you know, Tim's got a great idea, and he might explain it to you, I don't know. I like his idea on it.
Well, I mean, part of the issue is that obviously we know that this is not a revenue generator.
Yeah.
You know, so it's not like the electric department or something like that where we could kinda go, okay, it's fine. So, you know, talking with Ronnie, I think what we're gonna try and do is if we can get 5 years, that puts us out to 2025. At that point, you know, the bond that was used to fund the creation of the pool, we should have debt service, you know, we may end up looking at basically, the pool will probably need some larger repairs too. You know, whether it's mechanical, some of that stuff, you know, it'll be 15 years old, you know, it'll be breaking down. You know, the surface, the decking, some of the concrete already is showing some wear and tear within. So the thought process was possibly to see if the council, and who knows, you know, this is just kind of the idea, instead of spending cash in hand, we might bond, and we might say, okay, you know, we're gonna do a street project for $1 million, and we're gonna do a $500,000 street, you know, general obligation pool bond. And part of that would be the other mechanical that we replace, and part of it would be, you know, including the slides in that. The nice thing about that is that we allow that cost to be spread out, and in essence, what we're doing is we're just taking the debt service that we're paying right now, and we're reallocating it. So for the taxpayers, they should see a much, you know, more gradual number in the overall tax levy, as opposed to spending $150,000 of cash that we don't really have, because the pool doesn't make the money. You know, that kind of is a good way to think about it.
And that should string you out at least a good 10 years.
And that's the
more.
other thought, you know, so we talked about it, Ronnie said, okay, you know, 2025, we redo them, in 2035, new slides.
Yep.
Because you basically, you know, they're 20 years old.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
So,
If we still have a pool, if America's still here, who knows?
there you go.
but
Right.
I like Tim's
True.
idea on that, 'cause I think it'll work.
Yep.
I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, it's a good
You know,
idea.
So, I mean, just to let you know, so, we'll get these repairs done, we can get another 5 years out of them, whatever that, I think, and then we can look look down the road and stuff, but I know that I got 3 years left, but I worry about the pool. I want it to keep it nice, keep it clean, keep it up to date, keep everything going, so it gets last.
Sounds like you got 5 years left then.
That's what I told him, I don't know, that's what I said, but,
Isn't that what it sounded like?
Yeah.
I feel like maybe he'll just, pool manager.
Yeah.
He goes from
Yeah.
part-time in the summer,
Yeah.
be good, work on your tan a little bit, come on, Ron, he's a good for
Belly
you.
flopping?
We'll get you some swimming lessons, that'll be fine.
The old guy wearing the arm.
Yeah, boat eat, yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Ronnie's
The
on
rubber
duty
ducky.
today, put him at the top of the slide, you know.
You put on the rubber ducky one around your waist?
There you go.
So.
Well, he didn't say no.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't say no, no.
Well, you never know with that para, you know, you've
Yeah, I
got
know,
to
he
keep
might
an
have
eye
to
on
come
it.
So, but anyway, I just wanted to let you know on the maintenance part of it, and, we'll get that done this spring, this fall in September, and we should have a good start for next spring, okay?
One other thing, did you wanna touch on that life-saving event there?
Oh, sure.
If
Oh,
anyone knew about
yes.
it or didn't know
Did
about it, or?
everybody
Yeah,
know
I read about it, yeah.
kind of what
Okay.
happened, you read it in the paper, whatever, it was a really nice written article too by the
Mhm.
paper, how they
Mhm.
explained everything, I have to say that was really nice, whatever. I do know that the fire department is gonna honor the girls, I think, in the August 12th.
First meeting in August, yeah, with the city council, yep.
Yep, August 12th, I think it is, or something.
Yep.
And honor, or, give them some type of, award or something for what they did. I haven't still talked to, Abby, 'cause I think she just got back for some vacation again. So I'm gonna have her look into the Red Cross, 'cause we had a Red Cross, representative come down 5 years ago when we had the same type of incident, and they were awarded the Red Cross Life Saving Award, and it was presented to her, to them 2 girls individuals, and I'd like to do the same thing, so we'll have to do some paperwork, get that filled out, and hopefully Red Cross will recognize them too. So, I'll talk to Abby on that, but I just wanted to let you know, and very proud of the girls, they did a fabulous job. I talked to a sheriff on the scene, and he was nothing but saying, man, did them girls, for their age, how they just went at it, and they were right there, they never missed a beat, and they kept right on going, and they didn't question each other. The other girl, the Gaza girl was just sitting there saying, okay, counting the compressions, they were just doing it all in teamwork, so it was very awesome, so it was a great deal, and I think the mother, at the end, whatever, she was so happy that it all worked out. She didn't care if, the way I heard her understand from I think it was one of the sheriffs said or something when they talked to the mother, she didn't care if they had a mask or anything. They did CPR mouth to mouth, whatever they had to do at that time, they did it, and it was a good deal, so.
Well, it sounded like the little girl was back in the, water the next weekend.
Yeah, in the
She was
lake.
They were up the lake or something, and she was
Yeah.
swimming again, so that's
Yeah.
great too.
So it's a
Yeah,
We
good-
don't want
really
some
good.
kid to be so scared of it.
No, that's not a good thing either, so.
Right, so,
Yeah.
very, very good deal.
That's what Maddie did mention, she goes, Mom is amazing, 'cause she was right there. She said it was just, the girls were natural at it.
Yeah.
It was just
Yeah,
boom,
it was
no
awesome.
panicking at all.
Well, that's part
So I'm proud
of
of 'em.
training, willing to take on, this is
Yep.
part of my job, and
Exactly.
when
Yep.
something happens,
Yep,
Yep.
don't freak out.
your fear is gone, it's like, oh, got an instance, and I can
Yep.
freak out later, but.
When the incident is over, being on the fire department, like I had seen a lot of things, you start thinking about it more, and the girls were thinking about it. They had a
Oh,
couple
God,
debriefing
yeah.
things, and that's normal. Because, you start thinking about what you just did, or what you just saw.
Or what you may not have been able to.
Exactly.
Right.
Prevent
It'll work,
and
it'll
both
work.
sides, yeah.
So, yeah, so
Yeah.
they had some debriefing, the fire department helped out on that, and Mr. Moss, the emergency coordinator, if they need any more, Tim put out there that, gave me a paper that the League of Minnesota Cities has people to, whatever, or something, if it gets to the point that they need some more, we can look into it more.
Seems like things have calmed down again,
Yeah.
so that's good.
Yeah.
Because like you said, training we have vigorous training, and that's the important part about it, so.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
okay,
Good.
other than that, any other questions on the aquatic center?
Mm-mm.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, down to the Veterans Park stone wall update.
Yes, you guys have been waiting, I know, for some figures and stuff, whatever, on the wall, and we do not have them, and there's reasons why. I had talked and I tried to get a hold of John, and John's been busy doing a couple other projects down in Iowa. He's answered a few of my phone calls, and finally, after talking to him here last week, he decided to come up here today. I forgot all about it, I was gonna tell you, Tim, but he did come up, and he called me at 215. So he came up, cause I told him on the phone that we wanted to have some different price quotes because of the caps up on top, the peaks, and kinda some of the cement area on the backside and some of the other stuff that was gonna have to be done, okay? So he said, no problem, he says, I'd rather come up and look at it and then reevaluate it and then take a look and see what we need to do. So he gave me a call, he got here this afternoon and I was with him for probably about an hour and a half. We went through everything, okay? He told me basically what he's gonna do. There is one peak at the tallest part of one of the columns that has to be totally replaced. Now, he said he might have to get the measurements and recast it and make a unit out of whatever, and then recast it and re-pour a whole new tip point for that one. But all the other ones he showed me are fine. And I did look at every one of them today, they're all fine as far as them cement peaks that come up to a point. So that's good. So that'll be just power washed off, cleaned up, and it should look fine. He also told me that when he mixes his motor, he puts in lime, adds other lime to it, where most masons don't add lime, they just put the concrete mix and water and mix it, but he adds extra lime to it because it actually helps, he said, bond it better, and you get sometimes, because I've been realizing over years, it actually lasts longer. So he said I can put any color that I need to put into this mix and to get it really redone. He told me what he was gonna do, all the chipping part, all the tuck pointing, all the things that he was gonna do, replace this rock, replace this, I mean, we went through the whole thing. On the flat stones that are underneath the change that are all cracked, he is gonna look at getting some prices, for some new different types of cement. They will not come in the full length things though, they're gonna come like 4 foot, 4 foot, 4 foot. And there will be,
A joint.
a joint,
Hmm.
okay? That's the only thing that, because they don't make them long ones, he said, I haven't seen them for a long time. He said, and you don't really wanna take the look out of it, because I can match the stone as best as I can, it'll match up real nice, but at least you'll have a clean cut area, and it'll be joint, it'll have, caulk in it, it'll have flexible caulk, and he says they'll look really nice, so he's getting me a separate price on all of them flat things,
Okay.
okay? Then we start looking at the cement in front of the main structure. Absolutely terrible, okay? He brought out a brochure, and he said that they also do stone brickwork for sidewalks, okay? Beautiful, he showed me some pictures on his phone, these places down in Iowa, he did, absolutely, cars drive on them, and they, 10 years ago, he put in, it looked like brand new. So, there's some little half moons where, you know, where the thing comes like this, you know? He's gonna do some half moons with some brick, and they'll be kinda like a reddish one, he said it'll absolutely look beautiful in there, and set. So I told him to give me a separate price on that, okay? I wanna know how much that would cost. No matter if we do it, him with brick, or we do it with Sheldon for cement, it's gotta be, all of it's gotta be replaced. All the sidewalk in front of the place is all cracked, all the stuff in front of it, going down the middle, when you get to the railing there in the middle, that all has to be replaced up until the cement, where the new cement went for the new aquatic center. That all has to be replaced. So, I got a call into Sheldon, Sheldon's gonna come up here and give me some type of pricing for that. So we have to have that too involved in this project. The backside, what he said if you dug out about 8 inches away from it, and if you guys wanted to put some forms up there, you know, and round it, and then, you know, pour your cement, cause he said, after you told me on the phone about kids picking up rocks, he says, I could see that, taking rocks and throwing them into the pool, it wouldn't be a good deal. So he says, it'd probably be best if you did pour cement to the backside, but please, don't leave it grass, whatever you do. Cause he says it'll deteriorate the new motor, and it'll deteriorate and whatever, I mean, it's not a good situation, you gotta have a binding area, he said, or something like that. So, I took him down to the far end where our driveway back to our maintenance shed is.
was gonna ask about that.
Them pillars are bad. They lean. I think some of the foundation is also not very good. And I told him that I would probably prefer to maybe take them out. The ones in front of the picnic shelter is good, no problem, nice and straight. The ones out in front of the pool, nice and straight. I mean, when you look down the sidewalk, they're straight. But you look at the ones down for that driveway, they're leaned back in and that stuff. And he says, these would take a lot of work to get them right. He says, now I can fix it, I can fix them. But the reason why I'm thinking is that we have an approach down there too that's all cracked, all gotta be replaced and dug out also. So, I told him to give me a separate price on that features, on that drive.
Separate that out.
Separate it out.
Okay.
Cause I wanted to make sure that we knew what we were talking about, how much it's gonna cost us just to do that area. Okay? The neighbor, Dick Shea, I talked to him, he said he'd love it that it's not there. He said it would be absolutely great, it opened up my yard more, I can see what's going on, kids going on, he said, you do what you gotta do, he said, it ain't gonna bother me a bit if that was gone, cause he mows, some of that stuff is onto his property. Some of that wall is on his property, it ain't on his park property. So, he had no problem, I wanted to check with him, just to see, let him know what we're up to, okay, or what's gonna go on. So, he's gonna separate a lot of things out on his bid. So that'll be good, it'll be broke down better. He said he'll get it all to us by our next park board meeting, and then I can present everything. At least we have a good idea of what we're talking about. Very smart gentleman, he's from Wales, Scotland. He's done brickwork or this limestone for 58 years, and he's also an author. He wrote 3 different books, and he gave me 2.
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah, it was kinda cool, and, very interesting gentleman, he really was. And, but yeah, I'll get that report to us, and then we'll go from there and see what we got for total price. Our deal, I think, on the backside, I know Tim asked me, what do you think? You know, at first I thought maybe 500, but then when I started measuring everything, around everything, and even doing one, by the picnic shelter, we might be looking maybe $1,000 maybe between cement and some wood that we have to do, and some 2x4s and stuff, and then get everything situated and dug out, you know. At least we can get that part of it done. I asked him about the foundation on the main structure. Foundation is fine. He says, if you decide to cut all this out, I don't do the brickwork, and you decide to do all the cement work, whatever he says, that foundation will hold up. Don't worry about the underneath of the foundation, it's fine. He said, I've looked at that, he says, I've had plenty of them that are hundreds of years old, and the foundation stayed pretty sturdy on that, so don't worry about the foundation. The one there at the park that's back there, the reason why it started tilting is because the ground, you can see that the ground gave way, the dirt, and it's made it to kinda lean this way. So the foundation on that part did break up. So, other than that, very thorough, and I thanked him. I'm sure if we go with him, you know, whatever and that stuff, we won't have to worry about, you know, probably about the money being, for him to come up again. But if for some reason we decide not to do it, you know, then we'll probably have to owe him 2 trips, whatever. But I felt for him to come up here, and he said that you were a very nice gentleman, and it was, he had a nice conversation with you the first time, and, he said, I'm glad that I got to meet you, and we went through things, so it was a good deal.
Is this something that we gotta get 2 bids on?
Well, we do, we got one.
We already have one.
Depends on how expensive it
Yeah.
gets.
Okay, oh, another thing, I asked him about the, spraying that, sealer on it. He goes, that's great. He says, I can leave you the sealer, no problem, but here's the deal. He goes, you have to do it, it says on the can sometimes 5 years, you do it recommended every 3 years, and put it on by brush. That'd be the best thing. So if you got like the Cub Scouts, or you got projects for community people.
That's your last project, Ronnie.
Yeah, 3 years.
How we going?
Oh, he keeps moving out.
He does, it's like, he's up to 24 months now, I think.
Yeah.
He's trying to
Thanks, Jim.
You're pushing it up a little bit, huh?
But anyway, he said, sealers work great.
Yeah.
But the problem with sealing is that it doesn't allow the stone to breathe. So when he's seen this moss up on this peak, he goes, so that stone's breathing good. I go, well, that's just moss for being old. Oh no, he says, that's air. Air's causing that to get this moss on here. I said, oh, well, doesn't the crack, because it's cracked? He goes, nope. He says, the cement is doing that. The cement is breathing. And I go, oh, okay, the limestone. So he was telling me all kinds of, I said, okay, you know.
He would
He knew his
know.
stuff when I
Oh,
talked.
he knew his stuff. So, anyway, I wanted to give you an update on the wall. When we have it, we'll have something back to you guys in August, and we'll go from there, and we'll see what the price is, and go from there. I did tell him, I said, what would be if we decided, the council decided to go with this project with you, you know, on whatever price it is, when would be the best time for you to start it? He goes, well, I go back to Scotland during the winter. I get back here usually in March. So anytime April through all the way till probably October, it doesn't matter to me, he said. Depending on what I have other jobs lined up, he says, but if I do know that I know that you guys want this done, it'd be really nice to know going before, and he said, you can call me in Scotland, I'll answer my phone. I'll answer it, you just tell me, you know, when you guys wanna do it or make a decision. He said, you just give me a call, and then we'll get it put on the schedule.
Okay.
So, very nice to work with, okay?
So the other bid, that was the 250 one, right?
Yes.
And they did call me again. I think it's Josh is his name, from, Building Restoration.
Yeah.
He asked me how it was going or what the city had decided on the stone wall, because it was in his files. And I told him really basically, I said, well, I said, Josh, I said, I'm gonna tell you a lot, 200 and some thousand is a lot of money for the city to do something with a wall. He goes, oh, I agree with you 1,000%, I know it is. He says, now, he says, you just have to know this is total restoration. This is total rebuild. This is still maybe using some of the limestone, but adding limestone, but starting all over from scratch, basically. He said, so I just wanna let you know, that's what that bid was for. He said, you know, I mean, we counted all the money for even being tore down and hauled away, where you guys could save money and haul that away to a local pit, but we put it in there that, you know, we're doing all the work on this. So is it high? Yes, it is high. Is it gonna be rebuilt and last for another 60 to 70 to 80 years, or 100 years? You bet it will. I'll guarantee it, he said it will. But that's the price of what they said.
That's half of my tennis court price.
That's right. Not good.
You haven't brought this tennis court
Oh,
project
yeah.
yet, have you?
No, I
I've heard
haven't yet.
about it. All right. Well, maybe next month, all right.
Was this the tennis court Tim's gonna put in his backyard?
No.
Is that what you're proposing?
Gotta jumpstart the Captain Manorville tennis team here, you know, we've gotta.
Well, don't
And
be
the coach,
surprised,
right?
don't be surprised in 5 years if that bond for the recreation, for the pool,
Has a tennis court built in?
we might have a few little money or
Sweet.
something thrown in there or something.
Hey, they just did Cutsey Park over in Rochester. They did 10 courts, only cost them, like $500,000, which is really not bad.
No.
I mean, $50,000 a court for brand new.
Wow,
That's a
yeah.
great deal. Well, that's because they did them all
And what
at
did you do
once.
All
with your
at
courts?
once.
Cause I took a look at them.
What's that?
They're very nice.
They are. Oh, in Blue Earth?
I was
Yeah.
over yesterday.
We did, that cost us, we got that for $100,000. We did 6 courts.
Wow, they're awesome.
And it was, because we got it as part of a street project.
Okay.
So the bituminous was street, it was just had the paver come and pave an extra square, and then,
Yep.
and those are not even as good as, I mean, it's a wet area, so they are shifting.
Yep.
But it's a lot better than it
They
was.
look nice.
Yeah.
They look nice. I was there, I checked them.
Yeah, it was
So,
good.
yep, but,
But, and that would fit,
Possible then.
those 6 courts would fit. That same
Yep,
footprint
it would.
fits on the lot we have right now.
yep, I seen that. I thought.
It would squeeze, it'd be tight, but it would fit.
It would
So,
So anyway, yeah.
Next meeting we'll talk.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you can wait a little
Or
while.
further out, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you can still talk.
Yeah, well, I just think it's good to be aspirational too. One thing that's not on here is something that we did talk, Ronnie and I talked also about, equipment. So right now, there's some different equipment that Ronnie's looking at purchasing next year that we're looking at having the city council do, kind of what's called an equipment certificate, and it's a sort of debt financing for equipment that lasts, 10 to 15 years. So instead of paying cash for it, we would just spread those costs out once again. One thing that I'd like to take a look at would be a trail paver, because I think, all the trails the city's ag right now, most of them are in reasonably good shape. However, Ronnie won't have to worry about it, but maybe I will. That's gonna start breaking down. And for us to hire it out, in the short term, it's probably okay to get a contractor to fix small pieces, but as that continues to break down, that just becomes cost, exorbitant. Whereas if we can do it, repair work ourselves, then it's more cost effective. So I think that's something that, maybe not next year, maybe not with this next issuance, but the other thing is, we've talked about maybe sharing that with Byron and Manorville, because they also have sections of trail. The DOT is looking at actually running the trail all the way from Byron's high school all the way back into Casson here, along that route. And if they end up doing that, that's a huge, huge add. So, something that we'll be taking a look at too, is a trail paver maybe eventually here, so.
Maybe the county will wanna run it, fix theirs.
Well, and I mean, honestly, that'd be another partner to
Oh,
work
really?
with. Maybe if they buy the piece of equipment, we just help pay for it, I mean, I'd be okay with that too.
Cause if you go down there, they're getting,
Right.
the counties.
Yeah.
Right, Sunrise, Sunset, it definitely need patching.
Yeah,
They've done the crack sealing on them, which is good.
But now it's, the weeds are coming through them, and you got some pretty good sized holes in the
Yep.
cracks,
Yep.
when we ride them.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people on them, but
There are.
so you zigzag some of the spots.
We're not gonna get less trails, that's the other thing. We know that we're adding.
And that's the thing you can ask the county about.
Right, no, that'd be another good partner to have, so, that's the point.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, down to, Farnsworth.
Jason, basically, Tim reached out to him, sent him, I think it was an email, whatever, and Jason sent the email back, and he received it and said, due to his job being out of town most of the time and his lack of being able to come to meetings, he decided to step down from the board. He appreciated being on the board, and thanked us for being on the board. So now that puts me into the spot, we should start accepting apps, from the public as soon as we can. The question is that, do we need to do some advertising in the DCI for this position? So, you know what I mean, so it opens up to the public.
I don't think we do.
I would put it in the newsletter for
Yeah.
everybody in town,
Okay.
and then get it on Facebook and just word them up, tell
Yeah.
people right away.
See how many applications
We can even
Well,
bring it
yeah, I
up
mean,
tomorrow night at
I'd
City
say
Council.
newsletter is a good one, the Aquatic Center webpage
Yep.
gets a lot of foot traffic.
Yep.
The city webpage and then the Facebook page are probably the best way to go.
And we
I
can-
mean, some people, I get people who complain about the pool.
Chamber.
And I've asked them before, Chamber too, I've said, hey, if you really have a question about the pool or you wanna see something improved, if you're really that interested, we have a park board.
Yep.
And they're always interested in public feedback, and if you really wanna have some influence, then join the park board, because
Right.
you'll get to at least say, here's what I think.
Right.
Mhm.
And we can mention it tomorrow night at City Council.
Sure, if you wanna bring it up, Dan,
Yep.
great, otherwise if you forget, I'll just remind you.
And, yeah, 'cause we wanna thank him for
Yes, sir.
being on the board too, so
Yeah.
at the same time, then we can just definitely put it out there that there'll be an open spot.
Right, okay. Jan, can we get that put in some of them spots then?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think we'll get interest pretty
Right,
fast.
right. So,
Awesome.
that sounds pretty good. And then, I'm sorry.
No.
Correspondence, question is here is basically, I know you guys are seeing things go up at the North Park, but I really would like to ask you guys, if it'd be okay if we could eliminate the horseshoe pits up at the North Park. No one plays in them. They're crooked. We've not have anybody ever come in and play horseshoes very much anymore. I can leave the sand and I can see it, and the grass grows up in it, and it's never touched all year. So no one ever plays in them. I would
People are
really
playing
like
big.
really like to eliminate them and just put some dirt in there and just make it grass.
Well, does that go back to when they had the horseshoe league and they spent their time to fix it up, that was more,
We did all that.
is that what it was,
Yeah.
for their league or something?
And I
That
think
was
I
just for a
made,
while.
I
That
did
was
that
like
worship 15 years ago, maybe?
I thought it was not that far back, but at one point,
2005, doesn't seem like it was that long ago, but it was 15 years ago now.
I think it was.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
been
it
that.
was just kinda when I
Makes me feel
started
really old,
here.
Yep.
really old.
Yeah, you were what,
We're
young at 5?
I was,
I was back in college, it was terrible. Beavers.
I guess the thing that I look at is that,
I
I
don't
mean,
hear it.
the area, I mean, I know they're probably, like, if you guys think they're not hurting anything sitting there, but.
Well, what would you want? Would you want to replace
I
them with
want-
anything, Ronnie, or no?
Yes, that's gonna maybe
Lawn
probably be
yard.
my future basketball court.
I like that idea, because then we can shift that off of the tennis area.
Yep.
That's a good idea, Ronnie.
Just
I
think,
was thinking.
That is good.
that's a good idea.
And we have space now, even with the basketball court, but if we take that out, we'll have even more space.
Yeah.
Cause kids play, we can't get rid of the basketball.
No, they're
court no matter
always
what.
up there.
No.
They love it.
They're always, they do love it. So, I was thinking that if we just kinda got rid of them, throw some dirt in there, and then within a couple of years, we start looking at, or a year or so, at this tennis court thing, we can put a basketball court in there and get some blacktop and, you know, do what we ever do with, at least we got a court up there.
If nobody's using them.
I mean, overall, I think horseshoes is kind of a 15 years ago, that World War II generation, a lot of those
Well, I
fellows
think-
are gone now.
You know,
This
I
is
look-
most of the horseshoers are doggone to the cornholers.
I listen,
Yes.
I walk around the lake at Washika pretty much 4 days a week, okay? I go by horseshoe pits. I've never seen anybody ever use them.
Well, I, you know, go to any park, they're all deteriorated.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
it's all, the wood's broke, it's
Yeah.
done,
Yeah.
so.
They all got bags, like you said.
Mhm.
Well, you could
Because
also.
it's portable.
You could also
Right, yeah.
tend, because it becomes a liability when they're not maintained, they're not shaped, so now as the grass grows, kids are running, they
The
trip
pole
over this
is gonna-
pole,
Yeah.
they didn't
I
quite.
think people would rather bring their, beanbag board
And that's
to
what I
the
mean.
park and
The-
play.
the
Yeah, if they're doing a
big
family
cornhole.
reunion or something like that, or a picnic, absolutely.
You know,
Right.
that,
And those
that's
are
kind of
mobile.
taken over that.
So,
Yeah, no, I'm in agreement.
I would
with that,
have no
for
problem.
sure.
I have no problem.
No problem?
Why don't we plan on it, Ronnie?
Can we do that?
Yeah, why don't we get it scheduled?
Good, that sounds great, we'll get that going then.
As soon as you guys are done with stumps, are you done with stumps now?
We're done with stumps and that stuff, and, by the way, too, yeah, we are gonna start, I did call in locates, by the end of the month, we'll start doing the picnic shelter out to, Meadowland Park.
That's awesome.
Scott Lamplin called me to remind me again, so.
Any word on him helping with paving at all?
I still gotta meet with him on that, so.
Cause I mean, I know that needs some help out there.
It needs help,
It
and.
does, big time.
Yeah, if we have to
Even a small
reshape it,
parking
if
lot
we
would
have to
be fine.
reshape it and put the gravel back in there and reshape everything, and he just comes in and paves it,
Just
free of
even,
charge?
even an inch over the top would be fine.
That's all,
Mhm.
that's all we would ask, that would be really nice, so I'll work him, I know him pretty good.
Okay.
So, and he did it one time, and I really mean this, he did say, well, if you guys put a modular in there, and get a picnic shelter in there.
I remember that, yep,
He says,
yep.
I'll blacktop the road and the
Yep.
parking lot down.
Mhm. And we had no money at that time to
We
do
had no money, no.
anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I remember that.
Well, if you meet with him, let me know, because I'd like to talk to him about that main access road too.
Yeah.
Okay,
Because that is definitely a project the city council's looking at.
okay,
It's in bad shape.
that's,
So, the one question I had, it's not on here. This weekend I was out and about on bike and stuff, and I noticed, I wish I remember where, on a property, in the boulevard, they had two little trees. So obviously it's not the city planting them.
no, they planted saplings.
Right.
So what happens is that sometimes people take it on their own and they don't call me and let me know that. So, when that tree grows up, and if it's a butternut tree, or if it's a walnut tree, or whatever tree.
They look
it
like
is-
maple to me.
Okay.
But they looked really close together, that's why it really made me
Well,
wonder.
then
Well,
I will
okay,
see that
got it.
eventually, let me know where it's at, and then I will contact them, because you
Okay.
gotta have 25-foot spacing.
Well, these did not have 25, and then next to it was like a nice tree, and then you see these
Dan,
little.
so go out there, take your knife and chop it off, bring in the tree to Ronnie. This is what the tree looked like.
Oh,
I was just curious,
You'll-
I
you'll
know.
be
Just let the homeowner know that you're on the ballot this fall.
Yeah.
Okay?
Whoa,
I'm Dan Egler, city council member here, I took care of it for you.
Yeah, there we go.
Right, that'll work good,
I
yeah.
just saw that,
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
the city had put trees in it, I know they were a
You're
lot
absolutely right.
bigger trees, and then I was just curious, being it's in the boulevard, it was the
In our,
city's.
in our ordinance, with our tree ordinance, any homeowner puts anything out on the boulevard, as far as plantings, has to contact the Park and Rec or the
Okay.
forestry.
And that person may not.
No,
So many
exactly.
things that-
Yeah, and he may not.
If they're new to town too, especially.
Well, and I'm sure, even, I'm in town, until I was on Council City Park where I didn't know.
Is that why you had to pull a few trees out?
Yeah.
No.
And I-
I don't know,
Mine
how
are
about
in
you
the
guys
back
in the
there.
mansions up there in the northeast?
Yeah, that's not where I'm
Right.
at.
But I
That's
do-
not mine.
But there is people that do call me and ask me
Yeah.
before they do plant them, and I tell them, call them, go for one, and go ahead and plant them at least 25 foot apart. so
Yeah.
a lot of people are good about it.
Well, and I saw this one, I just like,
Yeah.
they looked really nice there, but I was just curious, and I knew that the city didn't do it, and I didn't know what the ruling was, that's
Okay,
why.
sounds good. Other than that, I don't have anything else. Anybody else?
No,
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
all right, all in favor? Say aye.
There we go.
All right,
That sounds
adjourned.
good.
Next meeting is August 18th.
Okay. And we'll have the wall situation, and we'll probably have more numbers at school, we'll see how August.
Yeah.